Hi, my name is Hollie. I'm a scuba diving instructor and I'm also studying maritime archaeology at the University of Southampton. And today I will be talking to Gemma and Ian on the Big Scuba podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Big Scuba podcast. My name is Ian, and I am one of the co-hosts. And with me, by the power of Zoom, is
Hello, my name is Gemma, and welcome to the Big Scuba podcast.
welcome. Right from the top, let me tell you, lovely people, that these episodes are sponsored by the great team at NART at 90. They are beyond technical.
Yes, and you can find them at their website, www.nartat90.com, and they cater for technical diving, rebreather diving, recreational diving, and they have got over 30, 40 years diving experience.
A lot.
They've got a lot. So yeah, they make equipment, supply equipment, obviously, and they have been very experienced divers, so they do know what they're talking.
And we're going to talk a bit about NART at night in a bit more in detail in a little while. And they've got a bit of free capacity as well, so we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Coming up, what's this podcast all about? We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about what we've been up to. We're going to talk about some of the news that's out there at the moment, which you may not heard of. We've got a guest for you. We've got another great guest for you. You know, we like to find guests. This one is no different. Her name's Hollie, and you might know her as the girl that Sidemount.
The girl at Sidemounts,
Yes.
Sidemount diving, yeah. So she's quite a youngster and has progressed through the diving journey pretty quickly, and has got aspirations to be sort of more technical diving as well.
Yeah. Stay tuned because I've also got. Can you hear that rustling of paper? Probably sounds real. I've really deafened some people now. So I've got a sheet of paper that I've got quite a few names on, actually, people who come up, got some free gifts while I was at the lovely Stony Cove, and who want to shout out. So I've got a list of names to shout out to.
Yes.
They've took their free gifts. They've got them sponsored by those lovely people at Night at 90.
And their free gift was a mask slapstrap.
Yes. Absolutely. We're trying to spread the message that everybody got to shop at Night at 90 because they're good. They're really good people. So why would you not?
No, absolutely. So, and they've got such a huge range of stock. And, if you can't find something, just ask, and they're the people to help you.
So why listen to this podcast? Why listen to the Big Scuba podcast? What are we all about? So if you look back, we've been going 5 years. We've got 200. This is episode 205. And nearly all of the episodes we've got out there have got a guest on, or they're just us doing roving reporting and things like that. You either find us under the water or above the water because we do a mix of diving, paddleboarding. We love being near the water. We love talking to people who have a connection to the water.
Yes, and this whole podcast is about talking to those people that have the connection to the either underwater world or watery world, and hoping to inspire people to look at things a bit deeper and maybe to consider diving or free diving or snorkeling and just have more of an awareness of the underwater world around us.
Yeah. And, it's really important because there's been some of the days we've had this week. We had like Turtle Day, we've had Ocean Awareness Day, other sort of ocean sort of based days as well. So, and there's been a lot of talk, I don't know if you've seen it in the news about, all this trawling that goes on our seabed and things like that. So lots going on. And we love a good story. So if you've got a good story, you've been diving a while, or maybe you're new and you had something really fun happen on one of your first dives. Doesn't matter the agency. We'll talk to anyone, no matter what agency you're from.
It doesn't matter about the level of diver you are as well. We've spoken to some people just starting out, but they're just so enamored by the whole diving thing. Their enthusiasm, is just infectious to everybody else. And then on the other side of it, we speak to, we've just recently spoken to Dominic Robinson, who's a big wreck diver who does 80, 100 meter dives.
He
And
likes, wet metal, don't he?
he does
Some
not.
people we get on like wet rocks.
They do. Yeah.
Some people we get on, they like wet rocks and wet pieces of metal to look at.
Yeah, and then on the other side of that, we've actually spoken to astronauts that have been to the moon, but they train in pools, and we've spoken to actors that have been in films that involve the underwater world. So,
Magicians.
yeah, magicians, artists, sculptors, underwater filmmakers. Yeah, just
Yeah.
people that have written books. It's
And
and
some of the Zooms that we do are quite comical as well.
they are, yes.
Not everyone's skilled. Sometimes, amount of times we see up people's nostrils when they're sorting the cameras out. But there we go.
Or what they're wearing as well.
Or not what they're not wearing. Confessions of a podcast. Maybe
We
maybe
ought to
that
do
could be a
that.
spin-off.
Yeah.
Confessions of a diving podcast. But then that'd be breaking the biggest rule ever. What happens on the dive boat stays on the dive boat.
Yes, and if you want to learn more, listen to the 204 episodes prior to this
Anyway,
one.
we digress. Come on, let's talk about, we've got people listening. Let's talk about what we got to talk about.
Right.
Right. So, we've got a guest. We told you about her. We'll come back to her in a bit. Now, we've got some Narc 90 news.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Narc 90 have just introduced another brand ambassador called James Neal from
Woo!
Dive In. Yes, so
A round
that's
of applause. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the crew.
yes, I think he's a technical diver, isn't he? So
He is, yes.
yeah. So he'll bring another element to the different products that Narc 90 supply.
And if you listen to this, Neil, come on, let's get you on and let's share your story. And he's obviously another believer in the Narc 90, like us. So we'll get him on and we'll share his story as well.
Yes, and then the other thing to mention about Narc 90, they've got a bit of spare capacity. So they've got these amazing like laser machines, CNC sort of milling machines. So they've asked us to reach out to people. So if you've got a problem or you're a bit stumped with a bit of dive equipment or you want something bespoke made, then reach out to Narc 90. They like solving problems. So with all this equipment they've got, they're definitely the people that can.
What was the milling thing? There was is it CNC?
CNC, I think it's to do with computers and yeah, we've had various products that have been from that, like that canister thing that was made.
Well, the stuff is so well made, isn't it?
It is,
and,
yeah.
and it is really tough. You could bash it against a rock and that'll still work. And we've talked about this before, haven't we? About this stuff is bulletproof, literally bulletproof. It's quite interesting, because where do you go to today for metalwork when a lot of these skills have gone, and especially if you want something bespoke, who do you turn to?
And in
Because
particular,
most of these things aren't in the country anymore.
no. And when it comes to diving, your safety is paramount. So you really need to be having these products made with people that understand the rigors of diving and particularly technical diving. And the guys at Narc 90 they've got they can pressure test things. So rather than go to, some fabricator that isn't part of the diving community, try Narc 90 because.
And some of these I've seen that where they can actually laser engrave either their branding or somebody else's, like if they got a logo or something or a name on somebody's rebreather head and part of the bodywork, that they can do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so we'll be doing some social media about it, but yeah, if that's something that's niggling in the back of your mind, call the guys at Narc 90 and see what they can do.
Get to their website. All you got to do is Google Narc 90 and that'll come up. So there we go. So welcome to James, and we told you about that. Swanage Pier. Let's talk about Swanage Pier. Now we've dived Swanage Pier now, haven't we?
We have. We've been there a couple of times. Once
we got blew out as well, didn't we? Because we got down there and that was, wow.
There's no viz.
No viz and waves coming in at about a metre high. And,
but when we did dive it was beautiful. It was
awesome.
It's obviously under the old wooden pier, lots of fish, sort of seagrass. But the guys there, they're now installing an underwater camera that will give you
Mm.
like a webcam so that you'll be able to see what the visibility is, and just see what's going on under the pier.
Yeah, you can actually sponsor the webcam as well, which is pretty cool if you want to go that far with it. But if you haven't dived Swanage Pier, now's the time, and you can on a low tide it was about a meter and a half, wasn't it? And high tide, I think it's about 2 to
Better.
3 meters, isn't it? So
Yeah. Yeah.
do want to check the tides and also check the wind for
Yeah.
Swanage Pier because I believe if there's a northwesterly there, that kind of stirs things up.
Yeah, there's a dive centre on the pier, so it's easy to get refills.
Yeah,
If you're not a diver, it's a brilliant place for snorkeling as well. And we've had a
yeah,
previous guest, Maria Munn. She takes people out with snorkeling, but also doing photography as well. So
yeah.
yeah, so there's something if you're a diver, your partner's not, but they're up for snorkeling, then it's perfect
It is a great place
activity.
there. I took Honey. We took Honey there.
Yeah,
She was 14, and that was one of her first sea dives at Swanage, and she really loved it. Really good. And then afterwards, there's some great cafes there for a nice cup of coffee
cake and
and
coffee and
cakes
ice
and that
cream.
to recharge the batteries and that. So what more do you want?
Yeah, so
Parking is really easy. You can park right there and, get geared up and there's trolleys you can load up with the tank and stuff. As Gemma said, there's a dive center. You can get air fills. Everything's all there. So
yeah, it's
do it.
definitely put it on your bucket list if you haven't done it. It's definitely it's a nice place to go as well to spend a few days and explore the coastline. You're not
Yeah.
far from Durdle Door and the coast path, so there's lots more to do, yeah, other than diving.
And we did Chisel Beach, didn't we?
Yes.
When we got blew out from there, which is only a short drive from there, and that was absolute crystal clear last
Yeah,
year.
that
When it
was
was like,
stunning. Yeah.
just like being in a swimming pool, that was so clear.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you've got several options there as well, and I think there are a few coves around there as well, isn't there? So to
Yeah.
look at. So yeah, check out the webcam that's going to be installed under Swanage Pier.
Something else to check out if you haven't come across it on Facebook and it's actually been on the BBC News. If you Google where are we? The Arran shipwreck. So this is a load of pottery. It's been discovered, and Graham Bruce is the diver who's been on the news and things like that, and been sharing about it on Facebook. All about this pottery that's 166 years old.
Yeah, and it originates from Glasgow, and you wouldn't consider Glasgow being a base for pottery, but it's Bell's Pottery. That's what they identified this crockery
Mm.
as. And yeah, so it's a great story, and hopefully we've reached out
Some
to Graham.
amazing pottery.
Yeah, yeah, it's very colourful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Considering it's been under the water, and I think some of it was buried in mud, so that's why it's been preserved so well. And yeah, there's certainly a
It's
stash, but.
the SS Eagle, launched from the Dumbarton yard of Alexander Denny in July 1857.
They haven't quite got to the reason where the boat was going to with all the pottery, but yeah, they're investigating that. But yeah, what a story!
Here's a story, and we've reached out to Graham, and hopefully we can get him on soon to talk to us all
Yeah,
about it.
he's
Cool.
been diving 30 plus years, hasn't he? So yeah,
Yeah.
another guy with lots of stories to tell.
Yeah. O3 diver as well.
Yes, yeah, very good. And then yeah, another part in the news. May Doricott, who is another previous guest, I think she was episode 5. She was
Yeah.
part of the 3 girls that we interviewed. She's teamed up with another lady, and they're doing a virtual reality kind of goggle.
Yeah, virtual reality goggles. So
Yes.
you can, if you haven't, you might have tried these if you haven't done so already up at the Go Dive show, where you can put them on and you see sharks and stuff like that. I think they had them. They usually have them every year.
Mm.
Very similar thing. But this will be, they call it the Blue Bubble Immersive, VR Blue Bubble Immersive. And to help, you know, kids in hospital and things like that.
Yeah, so it's more for a calming atmosphere. So they're in the underwater world. So maybe it's a bit of a distraction while they're
But they
having
they
something.
are there's a crowdfunder because they're trying to
Hmm.
raise money to try and get it into more hospitals.
Yeah, yeah, but it's good cause, isn't it? Because yeah, hospital's
Yeah.
not the place where children want to be, and yeah, might stress them out a little bit.
So if you want to get behind them and support that cause, Google that. It's the VR Blue Bubble Immersive. Okay,
Hmm.
or reach out to May Doricott, and I'm sure she'll point you in the right direction.
Yep.
Shearwater. Now, when I read this, I was thinking, is this April the 1st? Because like, I think these aren't the first to come up with jetpacks. So Shearwater have now hit the news in the diving world that they're bringing out a jetpack. Now,
An underwater
we
jet.
aren't talking James Bond here, but I have seen, I have seen these type of things before where you have like a small fan on each ankle and one on each wrist, and with a controller, and that buzz you along. You know,
Okay.
um, but this one, you have a hydro tank, and it's going to have it has a bladder in it, and it seems like it's kind of a BCD set up with this hydro tank. So you part fill the tank with air and a water mix,
Battery operated, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then the water propels you along.
Mm.
So a
Yeah.
bit like an octopus does, when that squirts out water to make it propel along. This is what this would do, and that's on your back. I fancy a go.
It'll be interesting to see how it develops. It'll be interesting to sort of reach out to them maybe to say, and also the plus point, it's supposed to be a lot lighter than a standard setup with a tank and a BCD. So for people that struggle with that weight, that
But then you're only going to have so much air, aren't you? If
mm,
half the tank is water, so say let's say you slap on a 12 litre tank at 230 bar, you're only going to have half for that. So you're only going to have 6 litres, which
and
ain't
it
going to last you that long. But
no, and at depth, how deep?
well, I think it'll last you long. But the point of it, but it's kind of interesting because you need this innovation to come through in diving.
Mm. Yeah, and there are innovation things are going to come and not be successful, and then other things are going to, be
Well,
successful. So that's
there was the breathing mask that went over your head, and then you had like two, almost like two rebreather scrubbers that were on the
mm,
side of your head. You look like a stormtrooper.
okay.
You know what a stormtrooper is?
Yes, I do.
Do you
There
need
is
to
men in
Google
the white seats, something.
the men in the white suit? Yes, those. So it looked like something like that out of Star Wars. So, but that never really cottoned on either. But
No.
we do need companies, especially like big companies like Shearwater, to come out with innovative ideas.
Yes, and that is progress, and it's a bit like our friends at Deep. They're developing new things all the time to make life underwater more comfortable and let us explore.
Yeah. So, it could be interesting. So look it up and
Mm.
let's see where Shearwater goes with that. Who knows? It could be at a dive site near you in a few years' time. Who knows?
Yeah,
Doesn't give a cost. Funny enough.
no, but well, there goes. Maybe in development still.
Yeah.
So you've been at Stony Cove, as you previously mentioned, on another weekend of dive mastering duty.
Yes, yes, that was all good. Shout out to our little team who did really, really well. Just trying to think of their names now. I know I should have took a note of their names because I would probably end up forgetting them. But you know who you are. Tia, Mia, Tia, Mia, and George and Ethan. There we go. Look at
Oh,
that for
well done.
memory recall. In fact, Tia told me that she was at Birmingham Uni and was going to be going to Galapagos in October, which is pretty fantastic, isn't it?
That's an amazing thing to look forward to, isn't
But
it?
interestingly enough, that wasn't on her top 5 list.
Well, she's going to tick this one off, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that going to Galapagos
Mm.
as a newbie diver. So I did say to her, you got plenty. You want to spend this time getting plenty of dives in the sea, getting
Yeah.
pregnant. So that'd be good. So anyway, so people come along. I left a sheet out and I said, hey, if you see the flag up, come and grab a free gift, leave your name, and I'll read it out on and shout out to you, lovely people who come and said hello. So here we go. Stand by. I do have to, some of the writing I've got to kind of decipher, so bear with. First up, shout outs to Maddie Kennedy, the original pink instructor. You know who you are. Mia Ellis Kennedy, Megan Forber, aka Meggles.
Maybe these are Instagram handles.
I'm sure they know who they are if they're listening. So anyway, I'm just going to carry on reading down the list. Bear with. Richard Forster. I think this is Greg, the face of Bizak, the COVID face of Bizak. Who's the COVID face of Bizak? I don't know who that is.
No.
Tony Farr, David Allen, who's the Rector Tech Diving. He's from Rector Tech Diving.
Okay.
David Allen. Okay. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people from Chiltern Divers. Hello, Chiltern Divers. So Richard, Simon, Tina, Ellen, and Andy, you lovely people. Then we've got Tracy from Dive Rutland, Ben and Carl from Scuba Libra, local
to
people,
us. Yeah.
local, yeah, from Norwich. And then finally, we've got, I think this is Man V, I don't know, and Kathleen from MK Scuba. So Milton Keynes Scuba.
Yeah, I've seen their van
so
there.
there we are.
Yeah.
They were there.
That's
So
a good little gang of people.
yeah, several names there. So I'm not DMing now until September, but we are out and about doing stuff. So wherever we are, we'll hoist up the flag and a hi, come and say hello, and yeah, come get a free gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sponsored by the lovely people at Night at 90.
Yeah, so you had a good weekend at Stony Cove.
Very good. Yeah. Viz is a bit choppy now. It's not the Viz is gone a little bit, but about 3 to 5 meters, somewhere like that.
I did see somebody had posted on Facebook today, actually. They were there the weekend and they did say, yeah, the algae is starting to bloom. So
the dive school's got the blame, I hear, from the people down at the Hydra box for stirring things up.
Well, it's a teaching lake. What do you expect?
It is. I know. We need people in the lake. What can we say?
Yes, these people at the Hydro box, they were newbie divers one day, and they need to remember that.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and hello to the guy on the twin set who barged into the girl on the surface as well. Not a clever move. That wasn't. Anyway, yeah. Look where you're going. Right.
What else we got to mention? And as we said, yeah, you've been under the water. I've been on the water paddleboarding on our McConk's paddleboards. So we are teamed up with them, and you can check them out in the link in the show notes. And if you're interested in buying a paddleboard for the rest of the summer, look them up.
We paddleboard, yes.
Yeah, we dive and paddleboard. Fancy that.
Divers can do both, you know. Did you know?
Yeah, and it's good to have an awareness of the water, under the water, and on the water as well. It's amazing what you see.
Sometimes we just don't have the time to go diving. Work comes first and everything else. So, but it's nice because sometimes we can just get on our local river and go for a quick paddle.
Yeah, and luckily here in the UK, it's middle of June and we're being blessed with some amazing weather at the moment. It's been a bit windy here and there, but the sun is shining.
So if you're listening to this in stormy November,
yeah,
don't worry.
Warm
weather's on the way.
Actually, this time next week, the days will be getting shorter because we're.
And on that note,
we've got the summer solstice on the 21st of June. So
it's when Gemma strips off, isn't it, and point yourself towards them.
Run into the sea.
The sea, isn't it?
Yes. So was it Saturday at 3:45 or something a.m.?
There we go.
There we go.
So there we go. If you want to know who the streaker is on Pakefield Beach, it's Gemma.
Yeah, come watch. Anyway,
Anyway, so let's get our guest on, shall we?
Yes, so we came across Holly via Instagram and sort of interested in her journey. She's got some really good images on Instagram as well of her under the water. I think that her partner takes. But she's just passionate about her diving journey. She's been based in the UK and
Yeah.
based in Malta as well. So we hear a bit more about Malta and what it's got to offer for diving as well.
Yeah. And she, although she talks about side mount diving, she's actually, big into rebreather diving.
Mm,
Talks about that. Very hot on health and safety. One of the things that came out, which stuck in my mind, this isn't the first time we've heard this, but I thought, you know what, that's good, and we'll highlight it. That her and her partner have this thing that from the time they leave the house to the time they get in the water, if three things go wrong,
they
they
don't
call
die.
and they
Yeah.
go, "Hey, we'll go tomorrow." And Christina Sonato, if you're not following her, you should be. Make sure you're following her, especially if you're new divers or anyone really. Just make sure you're following her. Has this great rule, that's always been inspired us. Five Ennies.
Yeah.
For any reason, for whatever reason, you want to call the dive, you all then call it, and there's no questions asked. It's, and we have this with Honey as well, and us,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's the only way you should dive.
Yes, yeah, and it's just about being responsible for yourself, but also being responsible for your buddies and hearing that they're very thorough about their buddy checks. Because yeah, we know, we see at dive sites, there are no buddy checks going on with some people. It's just kind of, an
Yeah,
unwritten
some
rule
people
that they
don't,
feel
some people
comfy.
do.
But, again, we spoke to somebody just recently, another podcast guest that's coming on, and you have got that responsibility to yourself. You're getting in the water, so you need
Yeah,
to know that you're safe and you're, fully checked out and you're there, for your buddy as well, so
yeah,
that you're able and capable to, rescue yourself if you need to, or your buddy. So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so but yeah, she's very, very
Buddy, it's been my experience that your buddy doesn't always stick with you,
no, exactly. So there
and
you
they're gone.
go.
Like, bye.
You can't rely on your buddy in some
I'll see you then.
circumstances.
Bye then. As they
So,
come up the other side of the lake 20 minutes later.
but the general rule is, that safety is paramount. But for such a young person, she certainly had, her head really screwed on, didn't she, about,
Yes.
diving and what the future holds for her and where she wants to go with her diving, which is
Yeah,
really, yeah, interesting.
it
Yeah.
is. So best you listen. Here we go.
Yes. So this is episode 205. We talked to Holly, girl that side mounts.
Hi, my name is Holly. I'm a scuba diving instructor and I'm also studying maritime archaeology at the University of Southampton. And today I will be talking to Gemma and Ian on the Big Scuba podcast.
So, Holly, welcome to the Big Scuba podcast. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So we always like to ask the first question is, what does being underwater mean to you?
Okay, wow, that's like asking somebody what's your favorite movie. It's really hard to pinpoint. But for me, it's the freedom. That's where my mind can just turn off. I can relax, and the feeling of just being neutrally buoyant, not having to worry about emails or assignments from university. You're just in your own headspace. It's just a feeling of bliss, and that's what being underwater is for me. It's where I can explore and be in my happy place.
Oh, great.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah.
how did your scuba diving journey start? Was it from a young age or has it been fairly recent?
So I started when I was 17. I loved doing, high adrenaline things, and it was coming up to my 17th birthday. My mom said to me she was gonna book me in for a try dive up on the north coast of Ireland, in a place called Portrush. And I was like, amazing, this is great, because I always wanted to go diving. So my mom thought just booking me in for a try dive, it would get it out my system. But I do the try dive, I fall in love with it, and then immediately after that I start my open water, go to my advanced, and just make my way through the ranks. So yeah, I fell in love with it in a tiny rock pool up in Portrush. It was
Excellent.
4 degrees water. It was great.
Nice. Nice and fresh.
Very fresh. That's a good word for it.
So when you went through your open water and all the progressions, was it all in the sea or did you do inland lakes?
Yeah, so everything was in the sea up on the north coast of Ireland. So I did my open water. A year later, I did my advance. A year later, I did my rescue. And then a year after that, I did my dive master. But my dive master was in Malta, in the sea. So I wasn't complaining for that.
Mm.
And then I did my first instructor course in Stony Cove.
All
So
right, nice.
that was a big change
I
from the
bet.
Mediterranean water. And then I went back to Malta for my other courses after that. I had enough of Stony.
That's our local dive site,
Yeah.
local go-to.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. I love Stony, but I got very cold. I would want to go back to Stony to do a proper dive because I was only doing the instructor course there, so I can't really say I've had the full Stony Cove experience yet.
Well, it is a good lake, but it's a training lake. At the end of the day, you go to Stony Cove and most of the other inland lakes, so you can then practice practice those skills that you need for when you get in the sea.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely good for training, and I found the Loch Ness monster
Oh,
statue
have you?
there.
Nice one.
That's the only thing I got to see there.
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, moving
Okay.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was about two years ago now that I did that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now that I'm back in the UK, I probably should go and give it a visit.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I've been to Vobster. That was nice, very cold because I went in February and I didn't have my diving gloves on me. But
Ooh.
I thought I'd be fine. I thought I could handle it. Oh, I was so wrong.
Mm.
They're literally bare hands.
Bare hand.
Wow.
No,
How long of dives were you doing?
12 minutes. I was in for 12 minutes. I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's UK diving though, isn't it? But it does have its good, it does warm up and we dry suits, but with semi-dries in the summer and wetsuits. So yeah, it is a versatile place to dive, definitely UK.
Yeah, I've got some dives at Andart coming up soon. Haven't been there, so that'll be fun. And then with my course, I got the chance to dive on the HMS Invincible, which is just off the Solent, which was a really nice dive. It wasn't as cold because it was November time, but still a shock to the system coming from the Mediterranean.
Yeah, but you've got some great dives on that south coast where you are at the moment. Some
Yeah,
great places to dive.
there's some really good sites. So I have some friends based across the south. They've invited me out to like Swanage.
Yeah.
I really want to go there, and I also want to have a go at diving in Cornwall while I'm here. Might as well make use of as much diving as I can.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You've just been to Malta, haven't you?
Yeah, I went for a very 1 week trip last week, just to get some diving in because I'm studying, so I don't get a lot of chance to go diving.
Right.
A little offer on the flights came up, so I was like, I'll go over, have a little
Yeah.
dive, come back here. So that was really nice.
How much was the flights?
If I fly from Bournemouth, it's like €25.
No way.
Wow.
That's not including my dive luggage though. So it like ended up being about €120 total return with the sports gear. So very cheap.
So that's return and that's with your gear.
Yeah, from Bournemouth.
That's good, isn't it?
It's amazing. I wasn't complaining.
That's nearly the same price as if you hired a car to go to Stony.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Stony's
Yeah.
quite a drive though. I have some friends that drive me around. I'm very lucky. I buy them a beer at the end of the day.
That's
Fair
good,
enough.
good payment, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're studying archaeology. So is it through diving that you then chose that particular course?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in history and anthropology, and then the dive instructing kind of took over. So I spent a couple of years just teaching diving. And then last year around January time, I was like, I want to do something. I love wrecks, I love exploring, I love archaeology. So I thought I'd do the masters in maritime archaeology. So I applied to Malta and Southampton. Initially I wanted to do it in Malta, but Southampton got back to me first and I got too excited. So I was like, yeah, I'll go there. So yeah, I started last September and I finished this September. It's just a 1-year course. So it's definitely the diving that pushed me to do it. And I'm very glad. It's been a really good experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why archaeology?
I've always been fascinated by history. It's always been my favorite subject. And then when I started diving, wreck diving has always been my favorite kind of diving.
So
And
you ever done cave diving? Not get into that?
I've done caverns, but not cave. I want to do my cave course at some point, but at the moment, I'm focusing on just going deeper.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Well, we find people, they kind of gravitate to different routes on their diving. So it's wrecks, caves, marine. Yeah, so it's interesting to know, what kind of attracts you to the wreck side of things. But I guess that's kind of the history, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And I love the feeling that you get when you're exploring. It's literally like a timepiece, and you're like, people were here. This was a thing that happened, and it's got so much history and the goosebumps that you get. And even when you take divers to wrecks and you're telling them the story of it, it's really nice to see how engaging it can be. And then when you come out of the dive, it's like, oh, I got goosebumps and stuff. So I think the history of it and experiencing it is something else for me. But I want to do cave diving at some point. That's definitely on there, especially with the Sidemount diving because I love it. But I've got my next course is my hypoxic. So right now I just want to go deeper. I want to see all the wrecks.
So where's your bottom point at the moment?
Right now I can do 60.
Yeah.
I've got my 80 and then hypoxic coming up in the next month.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did your journey start? So single tank, and then you mentioned side mount. So was that a natural progression?
Yeah. So all single tank. Then after I did my raid instructor, it opened my eyes more to the tech world. And in Malta, it's a lot of tech diving. So I did twin set and it was great. But then I was like, I want to give side mount a go as well. Just give everything a go. And I fell in love with that. It was the best feeling in the world for me. It was very different to back mount. But I much preferred it. I felt more free. So I went down the tech route with the side mount and
so with twin sets on your back, what did you have? What, two twin tens?
12s.
12, blimey, really?
Yeah.
They're heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, I felt like I was getting a workout with every walk from the truck to the site with that one. But yeah, I don't like twin 10s as much. I feel very top heavy with them. I feel I have a twin 12. It's better for me to stay in trim position.
And did you have the manifold at the top and everything with them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So it's great. I like twins. I'll be doing my hypoxic on twins.
Well, there's nothing wrong with taking plenty of air down. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
You want, that's pretty good go. So then you found it easier with the move and transition to side mount.
Yeah, exactly. I found for me with the twins, sometimes it was a bit awkward to reach, especially if I had like a lot of layers under my dry suit. It was just a lot of
because some people invert them, don't they, to make it that easier?
They do.
But it's still not that great. I thought, the old slob knob and that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I also wouldn't trust myself walking into the water and falling on my butt and breaking the manifold. So
I have seen them on dive boat crash to the bottom.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's an expensive day.
well, because you got that bit of baling twine to tie it up, and if they don't tie it up particularly well, all it takes is one rogue wave, and that's it, crash.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So, alleys for me for side mount became the way forward.
This episode is brought to you by Narked at 90, the cutting-edge pioneers in the world of diving equipment. Meet the founders, John Routley and Brent Hudson, who have logged thousands of mixed gas dives over the past 3 decades. About 20 years ago, these experienced technical divers combined their passion for diving and engineering skills to create Narked at 90. Whether you're new to diving and ready to take it up a notch, have a fair amount of experience, or are considering a transition into technical diving, we highly recommend Narked at 90. They're ready to advise on the best equipment and setup for your personal and commercial needs. Narked at 90 also has extensive hands-on experience with shearwater and ratio dive computers, being the longest-serving UK service centre for these brands. They're ready to offer technical support, servicing, repairs and upgrades for all shearwater and ratio computers past and present. In addition to shearwater and ratio, Narked at 90 stocks and supports many other brands such as DiveSoft, JJCCR, Hollis, Revo and Kiss rebreathers. The diving community is always enthusiastic about Narked at 90 and it's easy to see why. Here are just a few reasons. Full head servicing for rebreathers from various manufacturers, bespoke cable assemblies, advice on specific fitting requirements, suggestions and guidance for home builds, computer laser cutting and engraving, CNC milling and turning, pressure testing to simulate 400-metre dives. We're thrilled to partner with Narked at 90, a company that has ignited so much passion for diving and has been incredibly supportive and innovative in producing and selling dive equipment. Visit narkedat90.com to see why they're a renowned name in diving. Stay updated on their insights and offers by following them on social media. Just search for Narked at 90 on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram and hit that follow button.
Right. And how did you get on with buoyancy with that? So do you find you using more lead, less lead?
It depends. If I'm in a wetsuit, I don't need lead with the Alley 80s, maybe just like a 2 kilo block. But in my dry suit, I need maybe 4 or 6, depending on my thermals that I'm wearing. I find in wintertime, I need a good 6 kg in the Alley because I use the Alley 80s.
Yeah.
That's my favorite configuration to use at the minute.
There's a big difference weight-wise from what lead you'd need as a single tank when you're doing Sidemount.
Yeah, very different. So I always use the dumpy 12 liters just for single tank back mount, the steels. I love it because I use the XD backplate. So with that, it's already got about 3 kilos on it, so I don't need anything. I always put like an extra 2 kilos on or something if I'm teaching.
Yeah. Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, just to be on the safe side, just in case.
To be honest, I dive with it all the time because I think I get used to it.
Yeah.
And I don't really notice the difference between having 10 or 12 really.
On the steels back. Yeah. I don't think there's that much difference, but I know if it depends on the kind of students I have, because if I'm teaching a course, I know I'm going to be breathing a lot more. So if I'm on a 10 liter, I would put that little bit extra weight on me. I don't like using a 15 liter though. I always fail there a bit too long on my back. But I always would put a little bit, like 1 or 2 kilo extra on me, depending on the dive, just because they are a lot more buoyant at the end. So there's this one wreck dive that we do. It's called Tug 2, and it's about 20-minute swim there, 20-minute back. So it would be about 50 minutes to an hour. I always make sure we have a little bit extra lead for that dive because I know the tanks are going to be almost drained at the end of it.
Start coming out. Woo!
Exactly. So here you go. Here's some lead.
I've been with an instructor and I seen him grabbing a rock on the way back, and it's like, why are you grabbing a rock? Oh yeah, because you're getting a bit more buoyant.
Yeah, I've been there before. I did a dive at Blue Hole, and it was a stupid decision. I decided to go on my side mount, but it's like with my side mount, it took me about 15 minutes to put one tank there, come back, put my left post on and walk there. It took me forever. We went down, amazing dive, but at the very end of the Blue Hole, I felt myself getting very light,
Wow.
especially the alleys. So I grab a bunch of rocks in my hand, trying to like hide it very discreetly. But I have Lee, my partner, he took a video of me and it was gonna be so cool, but I see him take out the GoPro and I just dropped the rocks just to try and film the photo.
Busted.
It was a terrible video. You just see the rocks dropping. That's all he got. I'm like, okay. So I had to quickly go and grab them again for the safety stop.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who taught you side mount?
Lee taught me Sidemount.
All right, cool, excellent.
Yeah, he taught me a lot of my courses.
Right.
So, and are you progressing further? Obviously, you want to go deeper. So, have you tried rebreather diving as well?
Yes, I got my JJ Mod 1.
Wow.
Yes, I did my JJ back in November. That was incredible. Like, oh my goodness me. I loved it. I'm even representing the
Ah, yes.
JJ right now. So Lee became a JJ instructor. And of course I had to also try the JJ. Gave it a go. We did a try dive together and I loved it. It was very, very different. And I did the course. The first two dives were amazing because it was just kind of getting the feel for it and some of the basic skills. But then once it got once I got more into it, trying to focus on the buoyancy, I hated it. I thought it was the worst decision I ever made to go on the rebreather.
Really?
I just couldn't get it. I was all over the place like a basketball. But towards the end of carrying on the dives, I fell in love with it again and it became like second nature. But you're always learning, always messing about, always trying to figure things. It was the exhaling through your nose to then I'd lose it and then trying to.
Is that an automatic system on that?
Manual.
It's manual, is it?
Yeah. So it took a lot of work, but I love it. So now I only have about 30 hours on it. So in the future, I would go to mod 2, mod 3, because it's safer than open circuit for the deep stuff now.
Yeah.
It's so cheaper in the long run. So I'll make my way down, but for now we'll remain open circuit just to.
And you can come up quicker.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Less deco time,
Yeah.
which is a bonus as well, especially if you need the loo.
Yeah. So, are you mixing them up at the moment, open circuit and closed circuit, or are you just doing one?
Yeah, so I try to get as much time on the JJ as I can to build up my hours and to build up my practice, but it's not always possible. So when I can't go on that, I'm always on Sidemount, just practicing skills. Even if I don't have a planned dive with people or I have clients, I just get into the water. We have a really nice house reef. I just get in and I just practice drills, just keep trying to get better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a good place to do all that, because that's pretty decent all year round on that south coast, isn't it?
In Southampton?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So I've only been practicing in Bobster at the minute.
But then at the price of going to Malta as well.
You might as well just go there.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going back in 2 weeks, pretty much for the summer period. So I'll be working a lot on my diving there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're going to go back there and do teaching?
Yeah, I think so, but mainly focus on my own courses, trying to develop that. I'm writing my thesis on a wreck that's out there. I was like, I have to choose a wreck that I love. So I'm going out to write a bit of that paper as well, or at least do some research on it. Come back to Southampton, do what I need to do to finish it off, and then I'm free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the final game? What do you want to do after uni?
That's a very good question. I thought I knew, but the last like couple months, it's like I don't know what I want to do. I think long term diving, I'd love to go down the instructor trainer route because I love teaching. It's my favorite thing. But I also love. I worked in documentary film for a while.
Yeah.
If I could combine my love of maritime archaeology and wrecks that I love and combine it with documentary filmmaking, that would be like
Have you done the commercial HSE course?
no, I haven't, but I will be doing that soon.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
to do, isn't it?
When I've got some money, I will be doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a bit tough, yeah, while you're at uni and working and then saving for the courses.
Yeah, exactly. So within the next year, I'll definitely be doing it. Probably in Ireland or Scotland is also a good place for it. So
You talk about Scotland. I was reading somewhere today. So back just after the Second World War, I
Mhm.
didn't know about this, and I was just reading about it today. But something to look into a bit more. But this gives you like the scope of the amount of wrecks that we've got on in the UK. Just this little bit. So straight after the Second World War, the German Navy handed over all their U-boats, right?
Yeah,
And in late 1945, they the our Navy, the Royal Navy, manned a U-boat 776,
yeah.
and then um, brought it all the way up the Thames and parked it outside Westminster. And that was
Okay.
there for Pete for and opened it to the public, and the public got on and they could look around these U-boats because they were such a threat in the world in World War Two. You know, it's the one thing that really put the wind up Churchill was the U-boat war. Well, after the war, we had all these U-boats, and nearly all of them all got dragged up to South Scotland on the west coast. And a lot of they had about like 100 of them of these U-boats,
Well,
and they're basically just going to scuttle them. But a lot of them all sank before they got to the scuttling point.
So they're up
And
the coast somewhere.
they're all together. Can you
Wow.
imagine? So it's basically up near the mouth to Lock. I was trying to find it as we speak because I thought you might be interested in it.
that's
But
actually amazing.
but yeah, there's
Are they diveable?
well for you, yeah, because most
Okay.
of them will be like they're going to be deep, so
Okay.
deeper, more deeper than a recreational diver can go to.
Mhm.
But somewhere off this west coast of South Scotland is a big collection of all these U-boats.
Oh my God,
So
I did not know that.
1945 to 1947, there's apparently nearly 100 of them all laying there.
That would be amazing to get the experience to go and see. I'll do some research on that because I didn't know that. I know they
Start
have
the story at U-boat 776.
you
If
both.
you follow it through where it went to, it's on. It sat basically. They towed it up there, and then through whatever. Oh, Loch Ryan, wherever that is on the west coast of Scotland.
Wow. And what was their purpose for bringing them up there?
Basically to Scotland. They had all these
Oh,
U-boats.
okay.
They
Okay.
didn't want them to get into. I suppose it was a funny time, wasn't it? Because we were all friends during the war, and then we weren't all friends after the war. And I suppose we had all these U-boats, and they kept some of them, like I think the Mark 11 for research. Then all these other U-boats they basically dragged up there to scuttle, but a lot of them, because of the currents and the high tides, basically broke their moorings and everything and
Yeah.
sunk.
Scuttled them anyway.
Still there. No,
Wow.
no one died on them. None of them were manned at the time.
Wow, that's crazy. I know up around Donegal area there's a lot of U-boats as well. I
Yeah,
think you can get to them from Malin Head.
that's because the wolf packs used to sit there waiting for all the troop carriers, all the Liberty boats coming over for America, going to Liverpool. We used to sit there and wait for them all to turn up, and then that's why there's a lot of wrecks there.
That's amazing. That's actually so cool. I'll have to do some more research on that, see if I can
Yeah,
get away
yeah.
to
I literally found it at lunchtime, and I thought I was going to look into that as well because I find all that quite interesting, especially Second World War stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I love all those kind of wrecks. We have a really nice wreck. Have you been to Malta?
No, not yet. No.
Okay, there's a really nice wreck called the Maori, which was 1943 wreck that exploded in the Grand Harbor. But it was meant
Is that the oil tanker?
No, that's the Farood. That's
Ah,
the ML Farood, the Libyan oil tanker. That's a very nice dive to do.
is it?
Yeah, it's huge. You can't explore it on just one dive. I'm I've done countless dives on it and I'm still trying to
Well,
explore.
that's the one that they fought really hard to keep afloat because that was the last one that made it to Malta. And if that had gone under, and I think that sank in the harbour, then they had to drag it out. If that's the right one I'm talking about. But
That's
basically, it was
Maori,
Malta was on its knees at the time.
the Farood.
I'm not sure what the name was, but it was like one of the last oil tankers in at the time. Just before,
Oh,
because the if we lost Malta, we would have lost the whole Mediterranean and Africa.
hmm Well, I know the Farood, it sank because it came into dock, and there was gas containers snuck onto the wreck, and
Yeah.
when they're having maintenance done onto it. The guys doing the work, they didn't know, and they drilled into it, and that's what caused the explosion.
Oh,
Ouch.
So then all the kind of dive centers on the island of Malta were like, we want to dive this, we want to keep it. So they all went together. They managed to buy the Farood. They brought it out to sink it, and then there was this huge storm which broke the wreck in half when it was underwater. So that's when you go over the Farood, you see the massive crack, like dead in the center of it, which is
Wow.
amazing to dive. You
Uh,
get goosebumps when you go over it. It's a very good dive. I recommend it.
how deep is that? Is it recreational?
Yeah, recreational. The bottom of the propeller is 38 meters, and the top of it is around 19 meters or so.
that's
Yeah.
worth it, is it?
Yeah, it's really good. I'll take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wreck that I'm doing my paper on is a World War II wreck. It's called the X-127, and that was torpedoed by the Italians. So that was a British ship. It was a water lighter, so it transported water and oil, and then it's literally still in its resting place. It starts at 6 meters, and it's literally like that, and goes down to 22.
Wow.
It's a really cool wreck to dive. A lot of people don't like it because the viz is like the UK level of viz, but I mean it's in a harbour and it's on very silty ground. But
Mm.
I love it. It's either really, really eerie or really beautiful. It's like there's no in
Wow.
between. It's like one or the other. So you're always guaranteed a good dive on it.
Yeah. The one I was telling you about could be that one. I'm not sure, but the one I was telling you about is the one that I think it was about 1943 or something, where they basically, there was a whole load of ships. They all got bombed and
I think it's
torpedoed. And
Maori.
that was the last one that basically made it in. That was virtually, nearly submerged. But they had to fought really hard to keep the thing to get it into the harbour.
I think that's the Maori because
Yeah.
they had to move it from where it was because it was messing with the radars of the other boats. So they brought it round to Fort Manuel area
Yeah.
where people
So
can.
much history out there.
Yeah, it's a really good dive. I like it. It's one of my. It's shallow. It's like 14 meters, but it's an amazing wreck nonetheless.
Malta must be a good place to dive. We've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very lucky. It's perfect for training, because you have shallow water, which is amazing for all the confined, and then other areas of the island goes straight down. So it's great for practicing deep stuff too. Loads of
Mm.
tracks as well. No caves, unfortunately. There's like caverns, you can do your cavern, but no caves.
Hmm.
No, it's good to have that variety, UK diving and the access to Malta as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I need to get out to Malin Head as well. I want to try and get some more of the dives in Ireland in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like our previous guest, Dominic Robinson, so he's a deep wreck diver. He's got a YouTube channel, and it's just incredible, the wrecks and the variety of their exploration around the UK.
Yeah, what's your favorite wreck to dive in the UK? Do you have any recommendations?
We've got one off the Norfolk coast, haven't we?
Yeah.
Crazily, yeah.
That's a
No,
nice time.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, but I don't know how deep that is. What, 6, 8 meters?
About 8 meters, I think, to the bottom of it. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
thereabouts. It's
Oh,
quite a popular one on our coast, anyway. There's that one, and there's another one a bit further along as well.
okay.
The Vera, both World War One
Wow.
boats. Yeah, so
That's
I've been there a
amazing.
long time.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
For
definitely
the
need
crabs.
really. Oh, I love everything, but crabs kind of freak me out sometimes.
When
But
you're diving these wrecks, do you like enjoy looking at the marine life as well? Does that interest you?
yeah, I love it. I always do the briefing on the wreck, and then I always give a briefing on all the kinds of fish you might find like around the wreck, and then we always try and look for them. I love looking for cuttlefish. Um, Octopus as well are
Mm,
amazing. I love looking for octopus,
yeah.
and I've never seen one, but I always try and look out for a seahorse. So
Wow.
I know everybody I know has seen a seahorse when
Not
diving in
yet.
the water, but I've never seen one. I think it's a myth at this point. I don't believe it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love looking for the marine life.
Apparently, you're getting lots of octopus in the Cornwall, Devon area. They're that bad now, I think, because the water's warming up. It was in the news today, but they're eating a lot of the crustaceans, so it's
Oh,
affecting the balance of the fishing industry down there.
oh wow, okay, that's not good.
No, no.
We in
It's
our
good, isn't it?
Well, not for the fishermen. No.
no, it's great for the octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we have on our house reef a few weeks ago. Our house reef is in Slima. There was a tuna head from guessing like a fish farmer had thrown it in the water, but it attracted a baby great white shark.
No way.
In the
Yeah,
Mediterranean. Wow.
yeah, which is like the closest great white since I can recall has ever been there, especially on the house reef.
How big was that?
Is a juvenile. I mean, everybody's saying it's a great white, but there was a little bit of speculation that it might be a blue shark. I don't know how you could think it's a blue shark or a great white, but it was definitely a great white.
Yeah.
But it was only about a meter and a half or so. It was a juvenile. It was quite small.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
was
climate change, I guess, isn't it? The water's all warming up.
there's a lot of what is it, lionfish moving over from Cyprus to Malta now. So there's a lot of signs if you see a lionfish, you're allowed to spearfish it because it's gonna. And they're such an invasive species. They're gonna take
Yeah.
over in the next 2 to 3 years.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And just in a matter of years, the difference that you see and changing so quick.
Yeah, it's insane. But my favorite marine life to look out for is I love barracudas.
Oh wow, yeah.
They're so
Nice.
cool to dive along. And I love watching the amberjacks hunting when you go diving. You see like a school of fish kind of like waterfall down around you, and then you know there's going to be amberjacks around. And we did a dive in the Frood about 2 weeks ago. I've never seen so many amberjacks in my life on the Frood. So you're even seeing like loads more fish at the minute, and the water's getting warmer a lot quicker at the moment too. So it's nice to see a lot of the marine life, but it's not maybe for the best reasons. Like last year, we barely had any jellyfish, and normally we have a lot throughout kind of the March period. I
Right.
saw about two, but previous years it had been like layers of jellyfish on the
Yeah.
sea. So
Do
yeah,
you think they're keeping in deep waters?
in the jellyfish.
Yeah. Is
I
that
I
why you're not
I,
seeing them?
I don't actually know. I've normally they're only shallow, um, and we get a lot of the fried egg jellyfish too. But I haven't seen a lot of them at the minute
They're
either.
weird looking things, aren't they, really, when they're going along?
Yeah, they're really cool though.
Yeah.
I would like stay there and just be staring at them for about 10 minutes and forget I should probably get going. It's like they're fascinating.
Even like the little gooseberries thing, you look at them and you think, there's that translucence to them, and you can see it, the electricity flowing through them. And
Yeah,
you just think, wow, it's an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah, but you know, you have to watch out if they have like guitar string tentacles.
Mm,
I was diving in over Easter with my friend, and I was like, look, there's a jellyfish, and I got really excited, and I turned around, and then one of its tentacles got me on the lip.
yeah.
Like the only place where it has skin showing, it has to.
That's like a nettle sting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not nice. I used to, when I went sea swimming in summer a couple of years ago, I had a jellyfish wrap around my arm. It was
Woo.
the worst thing ever. I was just out for a swim and I knocked it. I mean, it was my fault, but it wrapped around my arm. So I had a lovely little like rash for about 6 months on my arm.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm not like my friend. My friend like literally scars from jellyfish stings, so at least it's not that bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but they are. Then there's, we've seen jellyfish. We've been diving up at the Farne Islands, and you see them in the distance, and yeah,
That's
all
where I got
strange.
started up there.
Mm.
Same place, funny enough. Tent. I was like, "What's that going to go?" And I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And I realised what it was.
It's free lip filler.
Yeah, when it crossed it over the top of the regulator, and it was like, "Ow!"
That's not nice.
No,
You look like you have some Botox done when you come out.
again.
People, yeah, pay for that.
Exactly. Just swim with jellyfish, you're fine.
So what sort of kit do you use? Are you mostly dry suit when you're in the UK?
Yeah, always dry suit. I mean, I use the Avatar 101, which I
Mm.
really like. It's lasted me for a very long time now. Um, and then in Malta, I also use the Avatar as well. But I've noticed in the UK, I need to use a few more layers than I than I do in Malta. So the undersuit I use is the Santee Flex, which is perfect for me. And then I just wear some like ski thermals underneath that,
Mm.
and that keeps me warm enough in the UK. But I need to get gloves. I don't have gloves. I
Got
learned
no gloves at all.
no, I learned my lesson. So I
Oh my
need to go
God.
get some.
Can't believe you go diving without any gloves in the UK.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm happy with it. So I definitely need to invest in a pair of gloves.
Although summertime, it's not too bad unless you're deep, but otherwise, yeah, you kind of after a little while, your hands do notice it.
It's like
Yeah,
diving without a hood. It's just like that's a bit
yeah,
weird.
I can't dive without a hood. Even in
No,
summertime in Malta, I need a hood.
feels weird, doesn't it?
If you dive without a hood,
Yeah, to
yeah,
me, it feels weird.
it feels very weird. I feel like out of my element if I'm not wearing a hood underwater because everything's so noisy and crackling, which is kind of nice. It can be kind of freeing sometimes, but I like the comfort of my hood.
Yeah, it is weird. I've got like a cap as well, which is yeah, I can pull it down, and that sort of like fits mostly over my head for the
Oh,
summer.
I
But
like a swimming cap kind of.
kind of, but it's neoprene.
Ah, okay, that's cool. I think I know. I've seen some divers wear that type of thing, or like a bandana tied back over
Yeah,
the head. I haven't tried that yet.
that's Captain Jack. That is.
Yeah, that is literally. They need the pirate hat too.
There's quite a few. There's a few divers at Stony dive with bandanas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a trend. They should make it like popular. I want to get a bandana, go diving with one.
Yeah, well, you see all sorts on dive sites, don't you? All shapes, sizes, configurations. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's always quite fun.
I've seen people dressed up as Darth Vader on dives.
Really? I've not seen that.
Yeah, I've seen it's only once out in Malta. I saw someone dressed up in.
What if it's that Dean Martin? I bet Dean Martin's got a. I bet he's got a suit like Darth Vader.
Do like a full face mask.
Yeah. Do you know who Dean Martin is?
No.
I it's yeah, quite a few people listening to the podcast will know who Dean Martin is, and he's used to work for Aqualung, used to work for Fourth Element, and now for
Nord,
Dynamic
dynamic Nord, yeah.
Nord. So yeah,
I use fourth element undersuits. I like the fourth element. They're
nice, aren't they?
I
Yeah.
use the Arctic. It keeps me warm. So I've been using that quite a lot. When I don't have the Santi, I use the fourth element.
Yeah.
Mm.
And everything else. So my back plate, and my wing, X deep. my side mount rigging is also X deep. My masks are X deep, and so are my fins.
With the do they do, because I've not looked into this, and if it's too personal, don't answer, it's fine. But like with buying a rebreather, because they're quite a big investment.
Yeah.
Is there like finance deals available on those sort of things?
Um, if you buy it through a dealer for
Yeah,
the rebreather, you can get a discount if you do like courses with them, I think.
right.
Um, but I had savings, and also I used Lee's rebreather for the course as well, because
But otherwise, you've got to get finance elsewhere.
he has a couple of JJs, so I've just loaned one of his, and
Yeah,
then I will eventually get my own.
because they're basically the price of a car, aren't they? Really,
Yeah, it's like what, 8 grand, 9 grand for a
Mm.
brand new rebreather.
Yeah, it's a big investment.
Yeah, but I guess if you're diving on it all the time and it's your line of career, it's gonna be a good investment.
Yeah.
If I carry on doing the deep stuff, which I want to do, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to carry on affording helium for each refill
Mm.
of
Yeah.
lives. So I think,
Which
well,
is how much? What does it cost? What's a helium refill cost?
15 cents a liter, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll worry about that when I go and do the course. That'll be my problem in a couple weeks' time. But yeah, it's not that cheap.
No.
And
But
then
then it's you're seeing things people on normal open circuit would never experience.
yeah, exactly. And it's just about, for me, it's pushing myself and challenging myself as well. I just want to carry on growing as a diver, and the more I push my limits and learn more and expand my knowledge, I feel it makes me a safer diver as well, for the shallow stuff, for teaching as well. So if I push myself as much as I possibly can, I know that it will make me a safer diver in general. So it's not just for me, it's for like people that I dive with as well. I just want to be the best diver I can be, as well as for the selfish reasons. I just want to explore more stuff.
You use check sheets?
Pardon?
You use check sheets when you dive, like in your preparation for
All
diving? Do you check
the
sheets?
time. All the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use them before every single dive. I always do a very like heavy buddy check with who I'm diving, especially if it's on tech. And for the rebreather dive, I have a printed list. It's not on me, laminated as well,
Yeah, good.
with every single thing I need to do.
Mm.
I would never just get into the water without going through a checklist first. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
You,
it's really important, and we hear so many divers that stick to that routine and that process. It becomes
yeah,
part of them.
it's good to have a routine and a plan. And me and Lee, we have like a rule of three. So if we're going through and something's not right, like say for example my bungee snapped, I'm like, okay, that's mark one. So like if three things go wrong during the checks, then we just call it off and do it the next day or something like that.
Sensible that. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
It's way better to be safe than sorry, because I don't know, if three things go wrong, it kind of puts you off the right mindset,
Yeah.
Mm.
too occupied with what happened and trying to rush to get it fixed just to get into the water. It's like it's not worth it. You just take your time, do your checks again, make sure everything's perfect, and just do the dive the next day or something.
Your
Yeah.
rig will be there tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly. Yeah. And then just go and get a beer instead or something. Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
And the whole point of diving is to enjoy it and come out smiling. You don't want to be in the water worrying about ifs and buts.
Yeah, exactly. You just want to have a good time. And
Yeah.
if you're in a great mindset and you just jump into the water and then something goes wrong, it's not worth it at all.
mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it sounds, yeah, you've got an exciting future ahead. And what do you teach all ages, or do you like specializing in the younger divers to bring them through?
I teach any age.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you get like a younger person. Like I had this 12-year-old doing her junior open water course with me.
Awesome.
It was amazing. I loved it because she was so excited. uh, Seeing like how happy she was after the course, it was really nice. And it's really funny though when you're teaching like kids, because they're in the water, all they're interested in is like picking up stones and stuff. So I had this one girl, and we were out just only like 2 meters or so, just doing practices. All she cared about was picking up stones, and I was in my dry suit, and I came out, my two pockets were like this thick, just with like bits of stone and like tiles and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really nice to see. And then I get a lot of teenagers who are coming from summer schools and stuff like that, or on holiday with the family, and they just want to go diving, learn how to dive. So I deal with a lot of teenagers. That's mostly who I teach. And
Yeah.
it's always really nice to see, because it's, this is the start of something for them, like it was for me, because I was a teenager when I started, and it became basically my whole life now. So it's nice to be that person to encourage them and teach them and show them a whole new world. That's like my favorite age range to teach, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's inspiring the youngsters, and bringing more divers into the sport, because it is, sometimes you look at it, it is quite an aging sport, and we just need to inspire some more youngsters to, and like yourself, you've progressed, and you can see your passion for it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. And it's amazing when you see how happy they are at the end of the course. You feel, you may be exhausted, but that doesn't matter. You're happy because you may have like changed someone's, view of the ocean. And
Yeah.
you're spreading something you love.
Mm.
How could you not want to do that forever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it sounds like, yeah, you've got an exciting future ahead. It's just, and it's, yeah, also, you're so young, and you've got that future ahead of you. Yeah, all sorts of routes you can take.
Thank you. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to happen for the future, but we'll see what opportunities come along in terms of diving and maritime archaeology.
Have you dived anywhere else in the world? So the UK, Malta, Ireland?
No, that's it. I got sucked into Malta, and I had trouble leaving.
Scapper on your list?
Scapa is on my list. I really want to dive Scapa, preferably before I leave in September.
Yeah.
So I will definitely be up there at some point.
Mm.
You've been
Yeah.
to I'm guessing you've been to Scapa.
I haven't. No, I'd like to one day us to get up there and explore. Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, I think I've seen people wearing t-shirts. I survived Scapa Flow. I have to dive just for the t-shirt now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's some of the wrecks that just meant to be amazing to see. So yeah, I'd love to. They're just so big, aren't they? Massive, huge, great big ships.
Yeah, I think uh I Gozo I've dived as well, which is basically it's one of the Maltese islands. There's a wreck called the Hephaestus. It was sunk on purpose in 2022.
All right.
One of the best dives I've ever done in my life. So we went to our maximum depth is 48 meters on that dive, but it's so huge. When you're at the bow, you can't even see the end of it. It just goes off into the distance, and you go in like one of the hatches, and it just becomes complete darkness. So you can just swim all the way through, and it's incredible.
Wow.
So I'm very happy diving on Malta and Gozo for the meantime. But I would love to dive like the Zenobia.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
that's
be
that
awesome.
Yeah, that's high on the list.
Some of your photography is amazing when you look at the colors.
Thank you.
Real deep blue colors come through in your videos and photography.
Thank you.
You know, is that GoPro that you're using for that?
Yeah, GoPro 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. And then I use like Lightroom to edit.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I have a long way to go in terms of my photography. I'd love to get an underwater camera, like a proper one, and get more into that because I love film. I love
It
documenting.
just shows you what you can do with the GoPro though, because it's like the clarity is brilliant. It's right. It's on par.
The GoPro is amazing. I really like it. I only have it's just the GoPro in the housing. I don't have any lights or anything for it.
Yeah.
So I take it down. I record everything and just hope I get a good shot. And then when I get out, go through it, and then the ones I like, I just touch it up a little bit on Lightroom. I don't edit it a lot, just a little bit, just to make it more clear
Yeah.
because it can be a little bit green sometimes when you go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GoPro's really good. I've heard good things about the DJI though, so I'd like to give that a go, or the Insta 360.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be trending a lot at the minute with like the fishbowl kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It just gives a new perspective on the dive and what you can capture. So it'd be great for wreck diving because you can stick it inside places maybe where you can't dive to get that view.
Yeah, exactly. That would be really cool to do. But again, when I have a job, that'll be one of my next
Where
investments.
do you see AI coming into all this?
In terms of editing,
Anything part
or
of it? Yeah, diving, doing what you're going to do, with archaeology, and because I think as time goes on, I think AI will say. I think there's some interesting stuff you could do with that AI and with diving.
yeah, definitely, especially now that you have underwater drones that can go down. So, I mean, when you're doing a survey underwater, that requires divers, that requires a team, a lot of coordination, limited time because of exertion and being on the site, swapping out, moving around. Um, Probably AI is going to come and take over that, be a lot more cost efficient, come down and take scans of the surveys. That's probably going to be a big thing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him somehow come into the whole management of rebreathers as well.
Yeah. Would you trust AI or would you rather do it manually?
Well, people trust them to drive their cars, don't they?
I wouldn't trust it that much.
I know, because it
That
only
scares
takes the
me.
one moment for that to, and this is it. I was explaining this to someone else yesterday, is that you trust these systems to drive your car, and then for some reason one day it gets something wrong, and that's the day you're reading the book, and that's when it has an accident.
Yeah. No, I
But what do? You trust in these new. We trust dive computers to today, don't we?
Yeah.
that's a very good point. Yeah. But I think if I had to choose between AI or flying the JJ, I would rather do it manually myself.
But we all dive today on the shoulders of the people like the John Chattertons in the world, not the guys at 90, all these people who went diving like beyond the recreational limits on
Mhm.
rebreathers and dive computers that they knew were going to break and they had to fix underwater to get back. And to me, I just think that's amazing that these people in the 60s and 70s were doing all this stuff. So people like us can just slap on a dive computer and jump in.
Yeah, exactly.
And that keeps us alive and gets us back. Thanks to these people who went before us.
It's all evolution, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy work that those guys did, and I am very thankful for that because I love how it is
So I
to.
tell you, I wouldn't be surprised to see in years to come AI come quite heavily into more into diving, whether it's fish recognition, history or actually on management on dive
They're
computers.
planning everything for you.
Mm.
Yeah, that it's probably on its way very soon
Yeah.
with the way things are going. But yeah, actually, I haven't thought about that before.
Well, now you go. Here we go. This could be an opening for you.
That's very interesting, actually.
Right,
Yeah.
get some questions in.
Yes, so we ask our guests three set questions. So they're the same to every guest. So our first question is, if you could take three people diving down under the water, who would you take and why? And they don't have to be divers, it's just the principle of taking three people you want to show the underwater world to.
Okay, I had a really long, hard think about this. So as I'm studying maritime archaeology, I would have to say I would love to dive with Honor Frost. She was pioneering woman in her field, in maritime archaeology. So to be able to dive with her around vessels or even anchors, and then have the opportunity to chat after about everything, it would be amazing. Also, when you're passionate about something and you're diving with somebody who's also passionate about it, it makes the dive so much better because it's so exciting. So that would be one person. Um, Maybe a little bit of a cliche, but I would also want to dive with David Attenborough.
Who
So
would?
yeah, exactly. I remember one of my first box sets was Blue Planet, and I would watch it all the time, and it kind of inspired me to go down the underwater world. Like originally I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I wasn't a fan of biology, so that didn't work out. I was studying biology. Are you gonna say something?
I just thought of the way AI could bring something into our diving. Could you imagine having a little couple of little cameras on our mask, right?
Then it
Yeah.
identifies.
And it recognizes where you're diving and everything else. And in the background, because you've got a little headset in your on your ears as well, you've got David Attenborough fed by AI
Commentating.
talking to you and doing a commentary as you dive and exploring the reef or a wreck. Could
That's
you
like,
imagine that?
that's like some Mission Impossible level.
That'd be awesome though, wouldn't it?
That would be really, really cool. So, I mean, fish
Because
eye.
that's the only thing that's missing in diving is David Attenborough giving the full commentary as you're diving.
That would be pretty amazing. That would make a really good fish ID specialty as
Good.
well. No, that's actually a pretty cool idea. But yeah, David Attenborough would be so cool to take on a dive. He wouldn't be able to talk to me underwater though, so maybe I would be better for that, so I could hear him tell me what I'm looking at. Um, and then also for the third person, one of my lecturers, so either Dr. Helen Farr or Dr. John Adams. So I watched the Black Sea Project, where they found like this unseen medieval ship, and that was amazing for me to watch, and it inspired me a lot, and I learned so much from them throughout this degree. So if I got the chance to, I know that's two people, so if I got the chance to dive with one of the people that inspired me to go down this route, it would be incredible,
Yeah.
especially because I know John got into the archaeology through diving as well. So it'd be nice to learn from the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Good
good
choices.
choices. Yes, very
Thank
good.
you.
Okay. So what gets you out of your comfort zone?
So diving actually gets me out of my comfort zone.
Really?
So I love diving, but if I'm doing a tech dive, I get so nervous beforehand. But I love the feeling of pushing myself, like
Mm.
to just go deeper, because when you're doing the technical diving, it removes all illusion that you have of safety.
Yeah.
You know the risks come with it. So even though I love diving and it's my happy place, it's also pushing myself out of my comfort zone to do better, to do more, be a far more experienced diver. So yeah, for me it's going deeper.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if where when egos and overconfidence creeps into diving, it also harbors complacency.
Yeah, that's
You
one
know,
thing.
and I think having a little bit, I'd rather have, especially with students. My last when I was on DM work a couple of weeks ago, the young guys, all sort of about 18, 19, I suppose. They didn't come all bravado and ego and things. It was quite the opposite, and and I thought that was a better place to be.
Hmm.
Being a little bit more shy about it and a little bit more respectful to the water and the
Yeah,
danger of diving, even though it's an open water. I think that's a better place to be, really, especially
yeah,
and as you get more experience.
absolutely. Because if you're complacent, then that's where the mistakes happen.
Yeah,
But if you know, you're a bit nervous or you're more into the mindset of thinking about what could happen, being prepared. And yeah, I think it's a better example to set on the students as well if you're not all like, oh, this is easy, it's no
yeah,
problem. It's better it's like doing the checklist before every dive. It's
yeah.
always having the preparation and the right mindset to just take your time and don't be complacent.
That's right.
It's okay to be worried. It's okay to be nervous. That's
Yeah,
normal feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, and it shows you're real then, doesn't it? And it's the safety at the end of the day is paramount when you dive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, great. And then our final question is, if you had a billboard that you could put out there to the world, either on the side of a wreck or flown behind a plane, what would you put on your billboard and why?
That's a really difficult question. But I feel for me and from the diving experiences that I've had and the people that I know in diving, I feel like we need more women in the technical
yeah,
diving. And I think kind of removing the stereotype that it's like, women aren't strong enough or they can't, be in high stress and high pressure situations. I think because I mean I've spoken to some people before and they've been like, oh no, I don't think it takes too much. It's too scary. And I kind of want to remove that. I mean, tech can be for anybody. If you put your mind to it, you put the hard work into it, you can have just as good a dive as anybody else.
Mm.
I mean, I've had like uh guys come up to me after I've taught a tech course, so I took we got out of the water. I was in my Sidemount configuration. I've had this guy come up to me and just start adjusting what I'm wearing. Oh well, I'm like,
really?
excuse me? Yeah, so I want to like remove the stereotype. So that's a very long sentence for a billboard. I'm not good at marketing, so somebody can shorten that for me.
Yeah, no, but it's a good message to put out there, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Respect to you diving with a twin set of 12s as well, because like that is a fair old lump on your back. And
Yeah,
I'd say it's about 60 kilo,
it's
I'd
heavy.
say. It's heavy, yeah. It's
Yeah.
heavy, heavy for anyone, and I think respect for you for diving with a twin set of 12s. How do you get more people, young people into diving and particularly tech diving? How do you do it?
Well, um, I use my Instagram a lot. I post a lot of like tech stuff on that. And a while ago, I did like a blog about women in diving and the
Mhm.
impact women have. And I know a lot of my friends who I've taught, I've convinced some of them to go down, like at least give side mount diving a go. I always introduce the side mount diving first. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's a whole new thing, you'll love it, it's gonna be the best thing of your life. And then we have the best time, and then they're like, we want to do tech too. And then I have like people replying to my videos saying, oh, this is amazing. I'm like, come dive with me, let's do some tech, let's learn tech. And sorry, my window is open. Any clients that we have, I always go out of my way just to talk about why they dive, what's their focus for diving. If they love wrecks, then I would kind of steer the conversation to tech if they're not already tech. So
Mm.
we've had people dive with us for, dive shack for maybe 3 years now. I've known them. They've been diving before, and it's been really nice to see a lot of returning clients progress as well down the routes of tech. So I try and bring it into every conversation I can, just tell them it's the best thing.
I don't think and I'd welcome anyone to say what the difference of their opinion is about this, but I think when you look at, especially in the UK, our diving age, and in fact, I was looking at the BZAC accident report the other day for the last few years, and the BZAC membership is like now half what it used to be, right? And it won't be just BZAC. I've just picked that out, but it'll be, I'm pretty sure, for all the others as well. And when you look at the say Stony, for example, the average age there on a average Saturday or Sunday, it's at least, I would say, probably 40s plus, if not 50, right? And I think the reason being is I don't think the dive centers do enough to recapture the people that go through the doors. So we because I rarely see the students who I will help on a open water then carry on, do the advanced, and so on and so on. And I think there's so many come through the door, do the open waters, and then maybe do the dive what they wanted to do, and then for whatever reason it doesn't follow on. And there can be all sorts of reasons for why that is. But when you look at the same faces, every time you go to Stony or one of the other lakes, you see familiar faces. It shouldn't be like that. If you're seeing all these new people and young people coming through, why are they not diving still today?
That retention, isn't it, of students?
No, I completely agree with you. But I mean, like you said, it could be for a number of reasons. I mean, I know if people go for open water with us, it's just to have that basic level of diving so they can travel and do stuff on the day. But I think it's like about finding what they want out of diving.
Yeah.
And then encouraging them, saying, oh, we can, if you want to progress to your advanced, let's give it a go. Let's see if you like doing this, and giving them new kind of opportunities to explore, and saying, oh, but if you do this, then you can do this. And like if they love diving wrecks, then you've got an easy way to bring in the advanced course, and you can do this. It doesn't have to stop at 18 meters. You can have so much more to see and do. It is kind of hard to bring in younger people because, of course, it's the start of finding a career. They could be in school, so they're expensive, especially in the UK. I've noticed the courses are a lot more expensive than they are in the Med.
Yeah.
I think for me it's trying to tailor the diving to them rather than just saying, oh, just do this course, or encouraging them, like making if they want to stay open water, just making a community or like WhatsApp groups for like people our age, and just having a get together to go for a dive as well. I like there's loads of things to do. It's kind of like hassling them, but very subtly, just to try and stay in it. Then you'll notice the more they do it, the more they won't want to leave it.
Yeah, it's almost giving them a why are they doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully things will change, and yeah. So if people want to find out more about you and follow you, where are the best places for them to reach out?
Instagram. I'm a very classic Gen Z. Instagram is the best place to find me. Of course, YouTube. I have a YouTube and a Facebook and a TikTok.
Keeps you busy.
I don't really use the TikTok or Facebook so much, but YouTube and Instagram is girl that side mounts. My Instagram.
Well, we'll put the links in, and then hopefully people, can follow you. And if they've got any questions, they can, reach out to you as well. So it's build that community.
Thank you very much. Yeah, everybody come dive with me.
Well, that's been a great podcast, and we wish you, lots of, wellness for your future and your course when that completes. And then, keep in touch with us and let us know what you get up to.
Thank you so much. It's been great chatting to you and meeting you both. And also, if I'm up in your area, it'd be great to actually meet you in person, go for a dive and a coffee.
That'd be good.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so we're always up for that. So it's always nice to meet people face to face as well.
You're up diving Scapa. I'll try and join.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Make the most of UK diving. But thank you very much for being on the Big Scuba podcast, Hollie.
Thank you for having me.
How good was that? That was really good, wasn't it? Yeah?
No, such an inspirational person, and quite a mature outlook as well for someone so young.
Yes. And really quite interested in the history and and short period of time, and done a lot in that period as well. So brilliant.
And it's really interesting, basing yourself in Ireland, the UK, and then Malta as well, and having those sort of different aspects of diving, even diving without gloves.
I'm not. I like my O3 gloves, although they're only 3 mil. Winter time they're a bit chilly, but it's weird, isn't it? Because you just get used. It's like we were talking about with a hood, wasn't it? Even when you don't actually need a hood, you still feel more comfortable with a hood.
And you feel tidy. Your hair's not in your eyes, and
my hair's always floating.
It's always over the place. But I think equally her talking about safety issues, checks, being really thorough. It's just so good to hear, isn't it? That there is that element of safety, and for the type of diving she's doing as well.
Yeah, when you read the BZAC accident report, it's quite sobering when you read some of the stuff that's gone on and during the year. And it's and then you listen to Hollie talking about safety, being safe, doing the checks and things like that. And that's the right way about going about diving.
When she was on about that rule of 3, I immediately thought of Christina and the any rule as well. And it's just having that understanding that you're under no pressure. If you're not happy, you don't dive.
It is right. And I've said we said this to Honey as well, haven't we? If one, for her, she only wanted to do one dive, and I'm not going to push her. If she says she's tired, she's done one dive and that's enough for her for the day, that we have to respect that.
Absolutely. And I think that goes an awful long way for the longevity of your diving as well. The moment you start feeling pressured, forced into something, that is where your journey is pretty much ending.
It's good, really good. Certainly one to watch for the future.
Absolutely. And there's probably there's a lot of people out there that she can reach out to as well for her journey and her future. People like Phil and people like Deep. They've got so much potential for the future careers, and just the inspiration of where the journeys can go.
The bottom.
At
the end of the day, I was going to say the sky's the limit, but it's not quite the sky's the limit, because it's actually the opposite. So it's actually how deep can you go?
Oh God, yes. And how you're forever learning, aren't you, as well? You never.
With deep, when you start pushing those deep, that's kind of you chipping away at it. You're chipping away at it bit by bit. You're not going right. I'm going to go down an extra 20 meters deeper than I was before. You're basically just chipping away at that little bit of depth and seeing how you get on, and then next time, maybe if you're feeling right, maybe go a little bit more.
Exploration, refining the skills, and never stop learning.
Yeah, and keeping to your limits, keeping to your boundaries.
Yeah.
Well, that was very good. And
Yes.
make sure you're following her if you're listening to this. Make sure you're following her and watching her videos and things like that.
Yes, yeah. So, and if you've got any suggestions for future guests that you want to see on the podcast, then let us know and we can reach out to them as well.
Absolutely, definitely. We should say at this point, we should say hello to our friends at NART.90 who sponsor this podcast. We've been talking about tech diving, and NART.90 are right in amongst it all when it comes to tech diving and exploration. We couldn't do it without them. And they are, as I said right early on, they are the people who've been diving in the years ago, and they are the reason we can just put these twin sets on and go diving.
Yeah, they're pioneers in their time, and they've allowed us to be where we are today.
Yeah, so look them up.
Great.
Well, I think I think we kind of covered everything, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. So thank you for everybody that has listened, and thank you for downloading. And do give us a like, follow, share with your friends, and subscribe.
Oh yeah, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review, because it helps us get found by your buddy who might not be listening to us at the moment. So make sure you do, and then hopefully he will or she.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Share it out there with everybody. And if you've got any questions, drop them into our Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, and we'll get straight down to you.
We certainly will. So thanks for listening. And for right now, that was
the Big Scuba Podcast.
Now that does wrap up today's episode of the Big Scuba Podcast. But if you want to hear more from the podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button depending on what platform you are listening on. That way you will never miss an episode from us. But if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and did enjoy what you heard today, we would really appreciate it if you head to the show page to leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does help us. If you do, please take a screenshot of that review and send it to us on Instagram, and we'll give you a shout out to say a big thank you. If you have any questions for us or anything that has been mentioned in today's episode, be sure to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms or send us an email. The links are in the show notes. We will get back to you no matter what. If you have made it to this point in the episode, we both want to say a big thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.